Quite an eventful week. Of course, it's the biggest conversation. It's Let's Be Real, where we unpack what has been happening and been trending over the week. As usual, I'm your host, CEO Charles Otieno, alongside the lost, the always here, and the found.
Interesting, by the way. Interesting balance.
Where am I?
You are here. But the lost.
It's this guy over here in the farthest corner. Sometimes I'm thrown away offset. Yes, I'm the lost one. I'm Simon Says. And I'm a content creator who makes content that makes you smile and think. And at the same time, I use my voice to enhance your message. So in case you want that, at Simon Says. That's the handle that you need to reach out to. That's me right there.
And I'm Maria. Am I there? I'm what? I've not been told what I am.
You are here.
Somehow.
Here.
You look
okay.
okay.
I am Maria. I'm an author of Marriage is a Scam and Love the Original. You also do a kids magazine, the Young Magazine, and Maria Nyambane Waweru on all socials.
And of course, Dr. C.
Dr. C.
Take it off.
I'm just still looking at wow. So I'm Dr. C, Dr. Catherine Masitsa. I'm a winemaker. Yeah, and by the way, we were running a promotion last week. Samantha's wines available everywhere. Chandarana, Nakumat, now Carrefour. Like, by the way, I have to announce this. Like,
Yes.
I'm so happy now. I really feel like I'm in business.
Say.
Yes,
For real?
because we just got listed.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah, it's not easy to get listed.
Congratulations.
Hey,
Yeah, thank
good
you.
job.
Thank
Hey.
you. Yeah. Yeah, and Samantha's Bridal, the wedding fair coming soon, end of March. Make sure we see you there.
Hey, and on that note, see, before we can actually
Simon,
open up.
why we need to toast to
Exactly.
that?
Yeah.
My hands are very
Imagine we
slippery.
need
You're
to-
stronger now. Go ahead. Open it up. My hands are very slippery. Open up. Strongest of a woman. Let's see. There you
And if
go.
I'm stronger than you,
Hey,
right?
you see that
Yes,
live on
yes,
set. And yeah, the women can actually even.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Samantha.
Imagine I've really waited for long to be listed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, now listed in some of the major stores. Now I consider myself like I'm really truly in the wine business.
You can say, Mama, I've made it.
Yes. I say Papa, I made it.
Papa, you made it.
Yes.
Okay, let's take it. Let's roll the program.
Are we
ladies and
not
gentlemen.
cheering?
Oh, let's
To
cheer
Cheers
fast.
to that.
Being listed, you're gonna cheer with
Yeah,
the
the whole
bottle.
bottle.
With the whole bottle. Cheers. Cheers and cheers.
Cheers to that.
Cheers and cheers to being
Exactly.
listed in Carrefour. Yes.
So, one of the biggest stories of the week have been the quality of animal feed. And KEBS last week gave a warning that the quality of feed which are being sold in the local market is not good enough for even the animals. Are we breeding a problem in here, ladies and gentlemen? Because you see, most of the feed which you feed to your animals is what translates to the milk you have, translates to the beef or the poultry, or even what you give to your fish. There are a lot of people who are doing fish farming, and if that quality is that low, can it affect us?
Yeah, and here's something I would say even about this. When it comes to the normal production of animal feeds, you know, a lot of people, a lot of farmers, even a lot of large-scale farmers, what they actually do is they make their own feeds. And it's not only from a business perspective, it's actually from a perspective of they want to even make sure that they know, even there's like a trial and error. They take even like adding this, mixing with this is good for the cow, and I've noticed that it actually even helps even breed more milk and everything. They do it from this aspect of the business and it's that sort of thing. And what happens is a lot of people now go to the aspect of making their own feeds, and that's where KEBS is now coming into play. It's like, why are you not actually doing a standardized version of animal feeds, which some of these ingredients, they need to actually be imported for them to be made. And Kenyans, because you know how sometimes the fluctuation in the markets, you don't want to go the extra expense of importing. Let me see what I can do with what I have. Let's mix it all up. And let's and that's what it is. That's what I think KEBS is coming up. You know, this mixing and matching and everything can lead to a detriment if on quality aspect of things. But when it comes to the business aspect, yo, you look at it like, I have a large scale. I need to actually learn how to make my own thing with the ingredients that I have, so I don't incur the cost of anything else. As long as they see that they're getting the desired results, they will keep on doing this. If now the alternative is getting an extra expense into their business, you know, it's a business decision.
Okay, I would first of all pose a question to KEBS. Are they announcing or doing something about it? Because if we are getting bad meat, we need to know that the meat is not going to be in the market if they are sure of that. It's like when you walk in town and then they're telling you, beware of pickpocketers, then you touch the pocket that has your phone. Like you're showing them, this is where my phone is. So that is what that's how they're acting. If they are doing something about it, then it's a good thing, because there's so many diseases coming up thanks to the substandard of everything that we have. But then again, where did the mercury sugar go? We had it, right? There's also the aflatoxins in flour, and right now we have so many flour, like so many brands than they were before the aflatoxins. So I'm just hoping that KEBS is actually doing something about it and not telling us that beware of pickpockets, so that we can hold our pockets for them to come and see this is where your phones are kept, this is where your money is kept. Because announcing is one thing, and whatever they're doing, like they're making their own feeds or anything, we don't want to know who is on the wrong. We want to know that if you've seen the standard is not right, it's not going to be in the market. Because so far we've not seen the shortage of meat, yet the percentage they're giving us is so high.
You make a good point, because do you know the funny thing is, this is not the first time KEBS has done this. 3 years ago, same story. They had the same press conference 3 years ago. True story, but you make a very good point, because they're just announcing 3 years ago. We have seen that the livestock, whatever, I promise you, 3 years from now, the same story will be brought out.
Yeah. Okay, so I can comment as a qualified veterinary surgeon who is, that is an area that actually...
You are qualified.
It's my domain.
Yes.
Yeah. And what I can say is that, number one, when it comes to veterinary, livestock, agriculture, you know, since we liberalize that market, I just find that sometimes, particularly in this country, the vet is not asked on some of these things. And why do I say this? For example, when Corona came, you know, when coronaviruses have been endemic, especially with chicken, it's not a new virus completely. Yeah, it's part of a family of viruses, and that the chickens have always been having it. And so when the virus came, I just saw the veterinary profession was not actually asked on what should we do. And guess who ended up actually discovering the vaccine? It was a vet. You know that worldwide, it was a vet. And I feel so that in this country, the interaction between human health and livestock health is not taken really seriously. We are not really, until recently, we just took on, as veterinary professions, the medicine. The medicine was being controlled, the pharmaceuticals were being controlled by the pharmacists. And they were the ones who were dispensing it. They didn't even know how to deal with it. You see, the vet is the only person who is trained to deal with the surgery, deal with the pharmaceuticals themselves. We are sort of like, our training is kind of like a bit different. So when you see, for example, there was a year that it was said, no selling of milk, like you cannot sell milk to your local, to your neighbor. And I remember falling out with somebody who was at a policy level, who was making the policy, and she thought, to that we are not even still friends, because she thought it was in the same line with plastics and all that. And I was saying, you know, the antibiotic levels. So a basic thing, for example, like if a cow has been treated, and there's such a thing called withholding period. So you treat your cow with an antibiotic, you have to withhold, like throw away the milk for a certain amount of time, so that the antibiotic is finished from the system of the cow before you can start drinking it. Yeah. There is method to that madness, because you can see in all over the world there's antibiotic resistance. And when we become resistant to the molecules that are there now, there are no new antibiotic molecules that are being discovered. So if you become resistant, do you know you can die?
Of course.
Because you cannot be treated. And there's a big interaction between what the animals are eating and what the humans are consuming. So what happens with the dairies, they actually check what is the level of antibiotics. If your milk has antibiotics in it, they just return to you. But if you're selling to your neighbor, you just don't know what you're consuming. So it's the same thing even with the animal feeds. From the chickens, you've had the stories of where people are using antiretroviruses, ARVs to treat. They are using funny things that actually, if you check, it's not even fit for human consumption, some of these chickens. The meat is not inspected. If it is not inspected and that animal perhaps died of something, or it's contaminated. So we need to take some of these things extremely seriously, and I feel so that at a policy level, there need to be better integration between human health and animal. And it's a serious issue. It's not just that if by the time KEBS is saying it, it's a very serious issue. People are mixing their own things, feeding animals. We are not checking. You're going to your neighbor buying the milk, you're not even checking.
So I agree with you totally, because you've dealt with it at a policy level. And also I always tell Kenyans that the biggest thing they will do is to take care of themselves first.
Yeah.
If you look at the researches which has been done in this country, for example, about plastics, you know very well that there are some areas where cancer has been very prevalent.
Yes.
And it's because many people do not tie the fact that they drink very hot tea from plastic cups. Sure. So
Plastic
because
is not good.
plastic and hot tea in a cold area, and that's why these plastics are very dangerous to people, because those particles, when you drink that tea, the particle of plastics get into your body and it becomes resistant, and it's very cancerous. So there's a lot of research. Back to this KEBS thing, my issue has always been that the population should know that you buy animals or you eat things from qualified areas. Because if someone is feeding his animals the feed which is, let's say the maize which has aflatoxin, you feed your cows or your goats and all this, that thing, or you've treated it and you're taking it for culling. So that's why meat from probably KMC is always safer to people.
Yes.
Because for them, there's a withholding period. They know this animal is ready for slaughter. It has been fattened. It has been treated. It has taken all that. They take all into consideration and all the diseases. But the biggest problem with Kenyans is cutting corners in costs. You want to keep animals, you want to keep bees, but you do not want to feed them on the natural or the formula which has been given. So you cut corners. You give your fish ARVs or your chicken. What nonsense is this?
Yes, and you know, I just want to, I don't know whether you guys remember, this is an article I read about an area somewhere in Marsabit,
Yes.
where there's a prevalence of a certain type of cancer.
Yes, there is always there.
And there was a rumor, this is a rumor, it's not confirmed, but it was a rumor that some guys went there and dug some holes and put there some things that had been imported. Apparently there were nuclear wastes or something. Did you hear that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, there was something like that. And therefore, since then in that area, there's always, is it throat cancer? There's a certain cancer that is very, very prevalent. And now people forget, and I always say we are in an ecosystem, my dears. We are in an ecosystem, yeah? So you are somewhere, you're the gatekeeper. You allow some people to come and dump some toxins somewhere, yeah? And then this meat comes somewhere, even, is this goat meat? We all, Kenyans like nyama choma, yeah? Whether it's mbuzi, we like it. Imagine you're just killing yourself. We are killing ourselves because you are the gatekeeper somewhere, maybe at the port. You didn't know you'll get anywhere in Marsabit, but that goat from Marsabit is getting you there. You know, you're consuming it, you get sick, and you don't know, you just killed your child, you killed yourself.
No, it's
so
dangerous.
But the only thing I have with this is, the only issue I have is that this regulatory body did not just start yesterday.
Yes.
And I get an issue when you are complaining about the same thing you're complaining about 3 years ago.
It's a dog that does not bite.
Yes, exactly. And when you're talking about the same thing about 3 years ago, and you reiterate the same problems, either you're not being heard and you're seeking to be heard, that making this time it may be the case, or you're just seeking to reiterate this is a projection that indeed recognizes the problem before anything matures into reality to abscond ourselves from any duty. That can also be a scenario.
But we've never seen the solution of it. Like, this is the solution. We found this is what we are doing, this is what we are going to do. Because, like, I remember the mercury sugar. that came and faded. Like we did not see. What are we doing about it?
The problem is corruption, and
Yeah.
you know that KEBS they don't have the enforcement unit which is very strong. And also, I always urge Kenyans, because if we take this responsibility of making sure that we follow their protocols, then we wouldn't be here. But Kenyans will always cut corners. KEBS officers might be, if there are so many in this country, they are around 200 in a population of 45,000, 45 million.
How are you?
There are farmers in Muranga, in Nyeri, in Maragua, in Kisumu, in Marsabit. They are everywhere.
Yeah.
Yet, these characters, instead of realizing it is their own health and they're endangering their people, they still make sure that they do not follow the site guidelines and protocols, and they just still give us bad for consumption.
Maybe
But by the way, there's I think I applaud them for saying it, because at the end of the day, we have to be our own gatekeepers, and we have to be our brothers' keepers.
Yeah.
So I applaud them for saying it, for us to be aware that there's a problem. And then we begin questioning. We begin questioning, because alone, perhaps they can't. So we have to police ourselves. We have to be aware.
Yeah, that's why I started planting my own food. Most of the time.
Yes, you can actually consume your own food.
Yeah.
I guess now more Kenyans.
But now that I've had KMC as good meat, I'll still have the mutura.
Yes, and by the way, there's a really, really big initiative. I visited the showcase at Jamhuri Park.
Yes.
What is it normally called? The
Jamhuri show, ASK show.
ASK show.
Yes.
And the biggest thing, this was like about 2 years ago, the biggest thing that they were saying that the government is really trying to encourage people to grow your own food.
Yeah.
There's a lot of initiatives. Even on your veranda, you can grow your own food.
Yeah.
That's not only will we become food sufficient, but it also increases the public health. So it's public health awareness.
Yeah, and that requires a lot of education. But then the education system is having a problem, Dr. C.
Yeah, education. Yes.
Go ahead, tell us about
talking
that.
about education.
Yes.
So there was this video of this young man that was going around, and he was talking about how highly educated he is and how he's being mocked. And I'm hearing a lot of people in this country saying that, there's no point perhaps to go to school. You'll just end up being mocked. It's the ones who don't go to school. And I'm thinking, do we need a paradigm shift perhaps where education is concerned? Is it really a waste of time going to school?
No.
Tuanze na wewe?
It's okay.
Ama you can round
You
up.
start.
I usually like him rounding up because he's...
Go ahead.
But start today, yeah.
Yes.
Well, first of all, education is, I always say, is an equalizer. And number two, the biggest thing about education is not about you and getting a lot of finances. Education is emancipation of mind and soul. The more educated you are, you take those facets in life. It helps you to better yourself, to better people around you. So for me, education is not only equated to wealth and the jobs. And this is the biggest problem. We take our kids to the university not to get jobs, number one. University education was not created for you to go and get jobs. University education was created for you to go and learn skills to be a better person, to sustain yourself. And that's what people do not understand. People go to the university and expect to get a degree and come out and get a job. When you get to that university, you are supposed to go there to study, to take care of your life, to learn skills which will make you self-sufficient. And that is the role of university. University is about research when you go there. It's about getting out there to understand how you can research and discover and unpack things.
Critical thinking.
Yes, and make you a better person. So I do not understand why people think education and always look education and equate it to one in the villages. Oh, you went to school, so you have to have a lot of money. No. education is not to make you have a lot of money. Education is to make you live a better life with your neighbors and also enhance your skills.
But now here's the thing. The reason why people will view education as a means to which riches can actually be acquired is this. We have invested how much for you to live here, to go there and actually get that education. Through this investment, we hope to reap from that. That's why that perspective is actually even there,
Yes.
because there's a lot of investment that comes into play. Not to mention, even right now with the help being all over the place, investment is required. That's why the joke will be there for people who have actually excelled in education. You have invested so much money to get that degree, to get that paper. Time, energy, money, and what did you get out of it? What is the return on your investment? What can we see and quantify? Because Simon went here and you actually, whatever, you have been able to acquire this. If there's no ROI, even you as a prominent business lady, what are you going to do? Pull out. What nonsense is this that we're doing?
No.
Or adjust, or you just stay in a venture that does not give you a return on investment. That is not how you do business. And that is not why that perspective is actually necessary when people view it that way. Even you know yourself, if you're going to put you in this place and you're not giving me any return, talk up, get out of here. What are you doing here now? And that's why even I understand the critical thinking, that's everything. That critical thinking is supposed to be utilized so we can actually see a return on investment on what we've actually put you through, which is the education system, which is changing right now through CBC and everything, which I actually agree with. But now, this outcry that we saw from the guy, he's actually being called, hey, first class, yeah, JA, you're still here, you know, and he's doing a casual job. The reason why they're toying with him on that is that we're toying with you because you're not supposed to be here. And I would actually even tell guys who are actually even educated but you're not actually getting a job, is one, you have the ability to showcase what skills you have in this, in what you call it, through even the social media era. It's upon you to adjust. If you're not seeing a solution, you should adjust now through the skills that you've actually been able to acquire. Don't complain that you have not been able to get a job. See what you actually need to do to showcase what you have, and actually now people can actually be able to see, hey, so Simon is useful to me in this. Let me reach out to him and see how I can actually do that. That is how you actually need to package yourself and view yourself that way. Because if you're just sitting there waiting for the government to come through for you, or it's your uncle who you sent a CV 5 years ago to finally come through for you, or that person who actually you're hoping that the passport will actually come out later on, and 5 years down the line you still not gotten your passport, and that job opportunity flies away, boss, you will wait like 3 pastors have been waiting for Jesus to come back. And that's not happening anytime soon. And that's the truth. So that's why you need to actually now focus and actually see how you can package yourself as an individual for you to get that job that you actually want. Even package yourself in a way that you can show your value to the marketplace. That's the key.
Actually, you see, when it comes to education, there's one unit that I always say is very important, that everyone in the university gets, called communication skills.
Yeah.
That unit takes everyone everywhere, because it teaches you on how to present yourself, talk to people. It's like this is what separates people actually. If you want to see someone who is learned, first of all, they were taught how to communicate. Mm-hmm. But in real sense, I would never equate education to something bad, because if you look at someone who is educated, you can tell they're educated. Yes, there is an issue in the job market. There is corruption, we know that. Okay. There is also the fact that few jobs for a lot of people. That is also another reason. So, education is supposed to equip you to be a better person. So if you're equipped to be a better person, it doesn't matter. I know people will always, even if you don't do education and you fail, they'll be like, why did we send you to school for you not to go to university? Now, why did you send you to university for you not to bring money home? There's always, okay, that is just a bargain of which we don't have control over in most cases. But I would say this, if there's anything important, it is education. That guy who was being mocked, it's because he lacked a job. It's not because he lacked the education. So it's out there, if there's someone out there, they can help. Imagine if he didn't have that education and he's being mocked. So there's a difference. He can at least express himself and talk about his problems and what he's gone through. Now, and with the way he's expressing himself, if I had an opportunity, I would give such a person, because he's spoken according to what he's done and he's shown what he's done. Mm-hmm. Now, there are people who are not qualified for jobs and they're working in jobs. Yeah. So many of them. Mm-hmm. And there are people who are qualified and they're not getting those jobs. It's not because of anything. It's because maybe he's not gotten the networks to get there, or maybe the jobs maybe were few at that time. He's not found a platform for himself. But education is more important for him because he's going to use it for the future. He's still young, by the way. He's not going to retire without having worked for someone, that I believe.
Yeah, but if I can chime in on a completely different point, you know, Kenyans, we are really good at giving ourselves problems and just killing ourselves. The first thing to do, where are we getting jobs for Kenyans? If we are busy consuming everything that is from out, okay?
Yes.
Why are we not buying our own made in Kenya products? Unless we can buy our own made in Kenya products to have our factories, to re-establish our factories, there will be no jobs. Like, this is just like really truly the beginning, yeah? But my other question is this, yeah, and I'm challenging all these people putting up all these malls and whatever. Why can't they use that money to actually invest in some of these Kenyan businesses, so that these businesses can actually grow, so that they can, it's a better return on investment than having a building sitting over there. And no one, I've seen, like, just driving from Karen, coming here, so many petrol stations are coming up. It's going to be fueling in those petrol stations. There are no jobs, people can't drive, people can't even afford fuel.
Actually, Mount Kenya.
Why?
Side by side, opposite
Yes,
each other.
it means there's some people who have some excess money, but this money is going in the wrong places. Can we invest? Can we make the Kenyan businesses, factories, Kenyan products work? If you go into a supermarket and they don't have Kenyan products listed, you're being treated like this. Who is going to come into your supermarket to buy your products? Now, guess what? Now we have young people who have no jobs. They have no jobs, they're not coming to buy your product. So for me, it really is just the chickens are coming home to roast, number one, because of what we are doing to each other, yeah? We're not working with that designer to buy her clothes, we are busy buying things that are from outside. The other thing is that we need to change our system of education. I'll tell you, as a vet, my training involved, I was trained to work at a government level and to work as if I'm employed. I was never trained to run my veterinary business as a business. And in fact, the curriculum has had to be changed. How can you be out there as a vet, as a business person, start up veterinary hospitals, so that we don't have this kind of problems we're actually talking about? So the education system must be changed. This thing of parading the children who have done so well and making others look like failures is part of the problem. Yeah, and I want to finish by saying one of my best friends, actually, he's now retired, he's in Europe. He realized, because he was in between London in the finance market, London and his country, he realized he's going to retrain, become a plumber, and the guy is making so much better money as a plumber. He's a PhD professor who just went to retrain. He's now employing people, he's a plumber, and he's happier with his family.
So, and you've said it very well. I think you captured it by the fact that Kenyans, our training is not well. It's not well thought of, where people would sit and realize that we are training people to be individuals who are independent.
Yes.
But we look for job market. But also, this young man who is complaining, at the same time, the government is trying to weed out of people with fake certificates. The country is a place of, you just get shocked that by the sheer number of people in government who have secured jobs with fake papers. And there are many fake degrees, fake masters and PhD, and then you ask yourself that the people who have really gone to school cannot get jobs, yet some people are masquerading in places. You've seen in this country where a fake doctor has been doing operations.
Yes, fake lawyers.
A fake lawyer has gone to the
and won cases.
You've seen in every segment, you've seen a fake something, even a fake police officer who rose to be an OC, a deputy inspector general.
Yes. And
Wow, that one I
you
did not hear. That one I did not hear.
Did you see on the front page of your newspaper,
Yeah.
we lost, like, Kenyans are to pay like 3 trillion because of some mistakes that were done.
Yeah.
Typing mistakes or I don't know what. Did you see?
Yes, I saw. My question is, it is
Fake people.
not that there are no jobs. It is the fact that there are people who have conspired to take the rightful positions of people who should have those jobs. And they're in government, they're in every sector. And if you are a young man out there, just better yourself, do some things with your hands, get your own skills. And the skill sets are most important. And this is what Dr. C was saying about building Kenyans. Do you know that we import in Africa, the biggest thing we import is toothpicks.
Toothpicks. And razor blades.
Toothpicks and needles. That every African country, every African household imports toothpick. Do you want to tell me all these young men and women from the universities cannot do or start a toothpick manufacturing? Toothpick.
Toothpicks.
That's the opportunity.
And Kenya, we spend like 10 billion to import toothpicks every year.
That is like a sign of really bad things. And
That's-
we're complaining about the dollar.
And they're talking about jobs.
And our president is working overtime. Aki anafanya kazi.
We'll talk about the dollar in a few. But quickly, we'll take a break. We need to go on a break quickly. But before we go on a break,
Yes.
tell people that where they can actually follow Samantha Wines. The handle is.
So now, last week we ran a promotion where somebody was supposed to win. Unfortunately, there was no number. So you DM me directly on Samantha's Wines, at Samantha's Wines on Instagram,
Yes.
and you get to win. At Samantha's Wines.
Yes, exactly. Make sure
So-
you DM at Samantha's Wines and tell her how you spent your Valentine's Day. The best story will actually get a bottle. So
bottle.
cheers to that.
Cheers.
And we're going on a break. We'll be right back on Let's Be Real.
Thank you.
Hey, welcome back to Let's Be Real. And reminder, at Samantha Wines, make sure you follow it. Samantha's?
Wines.
Exactly. Make sure you follow her page and actually make sure you DM her your story. What happened your Valentine's Day? You could be down in one good sweet wine down your throat and some good sweet energy that came down our throats from my ears from the president. We have been seeing the shilling strengthen. Finally, it went to the gym. It had been oversized and overweight. Now finally we're actually getting the shilling is getting some strength. Why? Because right now, as we speak, at this moment in time, at this time and juncture right now, the shilling is actually at 151, 153, around there versus the dollar. That's where it is, coming down all the way from 160. Wow, what a drop. It dropped it like it's hot. But now, here's the thing. When it comes down, all these drop. A lot of people are like, what's going on? Is the government finally putting in the work? What is going on? The shilling is now getting really stronger, or is the dollar becoming a lot more weaker? What's going on? Is this good news finally? Is this the big news that the Prime Cabinet Secretary was talking about a while back, that he was holding back? This is now that sizzle that the government will now finally say, oh, you see, we're delivering like a midwife. All those promises that we promised to deliver to you. The cost of living is going down. Hey, let me tell you, my friend. You know him. Is he really your friend? Yeah, he's your president. He's been telling you that the shilling will go down. Now that the shilling has actually gotten a little bit stronger, it's now a bit more fit. How are you feeling, my fellow Kenyans? Tell me.
I think so that ilo liwe funzo kwa sisi na hao wengine. Honestly, I will not stop singing that we need to build our own. So, you know, when you look at some of the reasons the shilling is having pressure, it's because people are having to import and import and import a lot. Imagine if we were net exporters, not importers. Imagine. We would really, really not mind about the shilling. So I keep on saying, please buy Kenya. Let's build our factories. It may look so basic. Look at where is this product when you're in the supermarket or wherever it is you're buying next time. Think about the jobs for your children, for your grandchildren, even if you're not in the job market. Also, even the young people, like, if you're worried about jobs, buy Kenyan products. You can vote and vote with your money and will never, never worry about the shilling again.
Interesting twist. I want to know, have you, well, first of all, the fact that the shilling has gone a little bit stronger, how are you feeling overall about it in the news and everything? Or first of all, how did it hit you? Before we figure out the why, before I tell you.
You know, funny enough, when I heard about the shilling dropping,
not getting stronger, the dollar.
Oh yeah, the dollar dropping actually. Yes. I remember my friend telling me, oh, now we can import.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people feel like now the dollar going high was making things expensive for them.
Now we can import.
Now we can import. Then I was like, whatever you are importing, is it lacking in this country? Like right now, a lot of people are rejoicing in the negative way than they should rejoice. Like if they want to maintain this era or this way, the way it is right now, they need to do a certain thing. But they don't want to do it. They still want to, let's now import. Others are not even willing to change their dollars right now until it goes up. But this is the point. At the rate at which it's dropping, if it drops and we help it, as in we work by buying Kenya, I am so sure of one thing. We will realize that our country's economy will be better.
Yes.
It will be better than it is right now. And if we have suffered enough, if we've felt the pain of suffering, if we have seen what we've gone through, can we at least try and take care of our country in such a manner that everything that you're looking for out there, you can find it here. Just get it right now. Because we also need to be rich. We also need to have this kind of life whereby we don't worry so much about our economy crumbling every day, or when again the dollar go up, or at what rate is it dropping. If it's dropping because of politics or it's dropping because of what we are doing, can we at least hope that whatever we do from now on, it will bring a shift for our country to be a better country? Because we might rejoice today and then tomorrow all of you are doing the wrong things, and then weakening it again. We don't need that. We just need it to be strong.
So I want to ask you a very specific question. This is very specific because something that you've said here, on this place, there's the reason I'm asking you this. Because we've had several shows together.
Yes.
You sat there one time, you said, I'm even the dollar will even hit 200.
Yes.
Now that they've paid, I know, and you know very well this is because of Eurobond and everything. Expounding on that, having seen the change, what say you?
Now, first of all, let me take you to my economics lecturer, SM Ndemu, University of Nairobi, Economics 101. There's no magic which has been done in the financial market. What we have done, and this is what I'll break it down to Kenyans, the simplest way to understand what is happening. The government was at risk of defaulting of a Eurobond. So the government went into the market and took a more expensive Eurobond, which will mature in 7 years.
25.
What has made the dollar come down? It is that now we have a lot of inflows. We call it in economic terms money, which is inflows which has come in, which will offset the first Eurobond, which we were at risk of defaulting.
July.
Understand?
In July.
So what has happened? It is like you, Kenyan, who have a loan in your circle and go borrow an expensive loan in the bank to offset the circle loan. That's what your government has done. Economics 101.
Borrow to pay another debt.
I'm talking, Simon. So what has happened? The international, because of the inflows coming in, the shilling, the pressure on the shilling has eased. Remember, the financial market is controlled by the availability of the dollar in the market. So the investors who were in flight have realized there's a lot of inflows coming in. So there's what we call confidence in the economy. So now there's no capital flight. So the shilling has to strengthen. That is basically what has happened. And it will maintain for a season. And that's why, because
What is how long?
How long?
the dollar will go even lower for the time being. But
How
remember,
long? Time being is how long?
it can
6
be
months?
even 1 year, it will still be low. But it will reach around 130 there.
Yeah. Right now it's at 140.
It will be around. Yesterday, on Friday, if they didn't control it, you remember that the central bank intervened and mopped out the dollar in the economy.
Intervene?
This is how the money market works. So the dollar would have fallen to 130.
That would have been amazing.
But it is, since these currencies are not gold standard measured, it can even go higher next time to 200 still. But the only thing, the reprieve we are seeing is that the government has borrowed a 7-year Eurobond, which is more expensive, which has made that dollar fall down. It is nothing else but that.
But now, in the meantime, what I want to say, within those 7 years or whatever it is, tunaweza kujisaidia to reduce the pressure on importing everything.
Yes,
no, this
yes.
is what I'm saying. It's the only thing that will help. But you asked me, how do I feel?
Yeah.
I was looking at, oh my goodness, I had changed. I'm a realtor also. I'm in real estate. So there are some properties that completely changed into dollars. I was just seeing the value of, completely down. Like I'm going back into Kenya shillings. I'm going back now to sell the property into Kenya shillings. I was quoting everything in dollars. Like I was not trading in Kenya shillings at all. That's how I felt.
I see what you mean.
But what it means for the economy is that there's a bit of stability now.
Yeah.
Somehow, yeah.
Yeah, well, the moment that the biggest problem we have is that we always have that pressure that we don't have enough dollars. If that inflow comes in, we will pay the loan, but at a higher price. But
we also due for, isn't it July? We also due for the first Eurobond payment.
We've borrowed this Eurobond, which we floated, is to repay that Eurobond.
That one now, that's actually...
That's what I've said. It's like you have a loan with a SACCO, and you can borrow from the bank to offset the SACCO.
Then you join another SACCO to pay this
That was basically what we have done. Naturally, people go this way. If you have a loan in this bank, it's always natural for you to go to the SACCO to offset, because the bank loans are more expensive than the SACCO loans.
Yeah.
But this is the reverse.
Are we ever paying these things?
But it's like mostly like a debt cycle. That would be the case. But then here's the thing: if the money is actually utilized in a proper way, which is now a rarity,
yes,
it can actually breed something productive
for us. Yes,
because there's actually, you see that 7-year break that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Then there's like a back-to-back years that we must pay every single year.
Yes, yeah.
Then there's also another 8-year break, because it goes up even to 2040.
Yeah.
And which now gives us a little bit of a breather.
Yes.
To now
actually
accumulate there.
Yeah, we've gotten that breather.
Yeah.
Because our headroom, our borrowing, our headroom was very low.
Yeah.
So we've actually pushed it a bit higher now.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So let's move on to the next topic.
Go ahead.
So Simon, you understand that my lecture was very good.
I see. I'm now seeing what you're putting together.
Yeah?
I see what you're making sense of. I've seen it clear.
He was a great man, Dr. S.N. Nyandemo, economics.
He taught economics.
University of Nairobi.
Okay.
And he's still alive and well.
Yes, he's good.
Okay.
But I wanted to say something.
Go ahead.
Yes. Just the other day, I think, is it called a Damascus moment?
Yes.
I'm just looking at our president, and I'm like, okay, he's working hard. He's really working hard, honestly.
He has so many issues to solve.
Yes,
finally.
He's really, considering he's not the one who created this Eurobond thing. Yes, he may have been in government, but we all know he was really not in government.
Yeah.
Surely, let's cut him some slack.
Okay.
Should I say young man?
Yeah.
He's a young president.
Yes.
He's in his 50s, right?
Yes.
He's really working hard.
So
Okay.
you're supposed to
My problem.
No, and no one is paying me to say this. I just I don't know whether if I was in his shoes.
My problem with KK,
No, he's working.
but my problem with KK regime is that too much talk, less delivery. But that's another story for another day.
Hope is, no, listen. Hope is also a
I want-
strategy.
Hope is another.
Hope is a strategy.
No,
So-
It's not hot air.
No, hope. No. By the way, I know there's a book
he
that
said
was
things will be
written.
better.
There's a book that was written. Everybody knows it says that hope is not a strategy. But now, after Corona, we all know that hope is actually a strategy. And sometimes he says these things to actually give us hope.
So
To just wake up the next day. Now, we'll deal with it tomorrow, but can we deal with it today?
anyway,
Better.
Dr. C,
No,
we
they're
agree.
Yes.
You have had your Damascus moment. You stick to your
We don't
Damascus
know if you've seen
moment.
the light or you've been
It's
blinded.
okay. But what we will tell you, hope is a good thing. That is Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption. You've watched the movie.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Hope is a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing, but
Shawshank, the movie Shawshank Redemption.
yes.
Morgan Freeman says hope is a good thing.
I'm going to look for it.
Fantastic movie. But let's move on to another movie kind of thing which happened this week.
What's going on?
Joseph Kangede, is it
Oh, no.
the fugitive, was finally arrested or hiding in the cousin's house. But let me tell you, the police had really worked on that man's relatives. You know that you didn't want, at the risk of the whole family going down, you'd rather just let that man. That's why I say blood is thicker than water. You'd rather just let him go.
Yeah.
You report he's here, come and take him. Because the guy has brought a lot of issues to the family. The police really worked on other family members. Yeah.
Yani, I'm just seated like this because a cousin or whatever did something. Unakuja unachapwa unaweka hapo.
You see,
And you don't even know.
let me give you a story which my colleague gave
Oh my
us one
God.
day. During the Mwakenya movement, there was a man known as Tirop. He brought a lot of issues of derailing railways in trains Zuko Rift Valley. What the President Moi did is to unleash GSU and all the police units to the village. What they did is terror. They didn't beat anyone, but anything on the field, in a pigwa, masufuria, what the people, if you are hiding that man, you just say, hey, come and take him. He's here. No.
Oh, I get, you know the thing is, but then of course, even when you see the Kangede story shows
Yes.
that even if, well, no matter what, even your family will snitch on you.
Yes, it's the terror they create.
Self-preservation. Self-preservation, by the
But
way.
even culturally,
Yes.
culturally as the African culture, what did we used to do? This I just hear from my father, even from my grandmother. If someone has killed somebody, you're not supposed to go and reside. You're not supposed to enter any family member's home traditionally.
Because that brings now
Yeah.
bad omen.
It brings a bad omen. There's a name in Luya we have that you call someone who was. You never go into your. In fact, even if you're walking on the street and you see a dead man, you're supposed to pick a leaf, throw a leaf, and go, and not even go and enter your own home. So even traditionally, there was a prescribed way of dealing with murderers. I think this guy is a criminal. If you're a relative keeping him, he'll just even gonna murder you.
No, you know what I feel sorry
Simon,
for him?
yes.
I feel sorry for him because of this. The moment he's extradited to the US, boss, he is done. That's enough, because that's literally, he's gonna have his own little court case here, but in the end, he has to, where did he commit the crime? In the States.
Yeah.
He has to go there and experience now that. That one, he knows very well right now, you know, in Kenya, you can maybe navigate something here and there, whatever, but in the States, boss, you are done. You're finished. Because he's gonna be extradited because he actually forfeited his Kenyan citizenship to his US citizenship to actually now come and be treated like now as a Kenyan here, so you can so that now he cannot be extradited. That's the whole that was his whole idea. That was his tactic, so he can make sure that he now doesn't get held accountable where in the States. But poor him, that's gonna happen.
But I've heard the U.S. prisons are better than the Kenyan.
Now US prisons, in the end, you're within a confine. The whole prison is primarily a confine, just to make sure it's a mental confine. You're extradited from society.
Here,
If
you
you are to
idea.
choose to be in a prison, committee or one of those orange.
committee 10 times easier.
Why?
Why?
Have you explained?
Very black.
You're talking as if you're there.
No, let me tell you, the American system, you see why this guy, Kangede, was looking at being in Kenya. because you can corrupt
Yes.
very many things. You can corrupt the jailing officer. You can, and I told you the other time, a friend of mine who had been jailed. There are some people who live in those prisons
What did you
like
call
kings.
him?
Chacho.
One of him, Chacho, yes.
They
54
live,
million.
yeah. The late Fire Mario
Yeah.
would drink milk and sleep in a bed and has his TV. You see, it depends with who you are in the society in Kenya. If you're jailed here in Kenya. The people who really suffer in jails in Kenya are the poor, are the people without connections.
And petty crimes,
And
yeah,
petty
people.
crimes.
Yeah.
Those are the people who, and political prisoners. These other people, some people are just living their life of their time.
But let me ask, let me go on. Could it be that the family saw that he was almost getting caught, or the police went to the family and they were like, this is already public, so you have to provide him, then they did? They
No,
were not planning to, they just were caught in a corner.
No, the family really, you see how the police works. If it's your relative, they come to you and they really work on you.
Good one.
They really work on you.
They just massage you nicely.
Yeah, they really work on you. The moment you leave that place, you just say, I don't want to see this man here. And then secondly, it is it's not very hard to stay away from, you see, if you're the criminal like this Kangede guy, do you know how these phones are tracked? It's through the email number, not through the
yes.
phone number.
Yeah.
So naturally, you'll have so many SIM cards, but the email remains the same.
Yeah.
So what you do, they will check the email number of the phone you're using, even if you change the line.
Yeah.
And then they know the people you'll call. Naturally, you'll call 4 or 5 people consistently.
Yeah.
So they will say he's talking to Simon or Maria or Dr. C. Simple. So they go and trunk it.
That's it.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Easy. If
Okay.
Kenya government
It's
wants
easy.
to find you, utapatikana.
Nowadays, by the way, it's really hard
It's so
to hide.
easy.
That's how you throw away
Nowadays
your phone when you
it's
commit a crime.
Unless that guy, unless you
want
throw you use that phone now, you
And
throw
you
it,
throw
you
it
buy
away.
another phone,
Yeah.
you throw it, and you don't call the same person. Because the moment you call, naturally you call the people who are close to you, you call your lawyer,
Yeah.
and they will track all those numbers.
It'll be easy to find you.
Yeah. But anyway, beyond Kangede, there was Jowie's murder case.
Oh yeah.
Murder,
Oh Lord.
She wrote.
He's gone.
Down on the dance floor. Hannah. There's
There's
a song like that.
But speaking of a song, he released a song. He released
He
a song
released
right
a
after
song,
this.
yes.
He released a song. It's a
Yes.
gospel song right after he was convicted, saying I something about the Lord, like I owe
I
myself to you.
surrender something.
I surrender something. Yeah, clearly. But now he's yeah.
Dr. C, what do you say about it?
About the Jowie murder. Gosh, it's so like, would I say a thriller movie, a sci-fi, or I don't have anything to say. It's just that an innocent life was lost. Obviously, there's more to it that meets the eye. I really hope the perpetrators are caught. If Jowie is the one, I don't know. Like, it went through the whole criminal system.
Yeah.
The evidence was provided. I don't have anything more to say.
For
But
me-
I have heard the word on the street. I've seen some people arguing for he did or he did not. I don't know anything.
I have a very interesting perspective, at least for men out there. When you get caught in a scenario, you and another lady, and you're both charged the same thing, boss, just know it's gonna end up on you. And that's literally what happened to Joy. Jackie Mary be free, scot-free, nothing, whatever. But just usually know that you are primarily gonna be the. So watch your back, boss, when you get caught up in scenarios where it's you and another lady. Boss, look out for yourself, because in the end, you're the scapegoat, and it's gonna be on you. That's literally,
What do
yeah.
you mean
Maria?
the scapegoat? Maribe, they couldn't place anywhere near her.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about the lady versus. I think
That
you
means
mean
that-
if it's you versus two ladies. Is that what you meant?
No, I mean like if it's you and another lady accused of the same thing. Kijana just.
No, I don't think it's like that.
It is sure?
Yes, I don't want, you see, this is the thing, but it's just about the evidence, the material evidence
True.
presented.
Actually, what I can say is there's always 3 sides to the story. There's yours, mine, and the truth, and all of them can come with evidence. So it doesn't matter who presented the strongest or the weakest. Any of those 3 could have come with evidence. The only story we don't have here is because the dead cannot talk. if the dead could talk, I'm sure we would have known the truth. Because right now we are going with yours, mine, and the truth that we don't know. So yours, mine, whichever came with the strongest evidence is the one that won in court. And we know very well that the justice system is to be trusted to some extent. That's what I always say, because you might find that Simon, today I can find something and say, this, you gave me this, even when you know that. I can even put your initials on it. So there are so many ways things can happen, but
telling me?
Sorry, you're okay. So we don't know the truth at the moment, but whatever they said, we'll go with it because you are not there.
So this was a very interesting case, and first of all, the murder of Monica Kimani was very sad, and if you read Judge Nzioka's verdict, you'll see that she was killed like a chicken, and it is really, really, really bad to kill a young lady in such a manner. But also, when I looked at that verdict, there are so many unanswered questions. The first question, which was unanswered, was the motive. The second unanswered question was the killing weapon. For you to judge someone, you have to convict someone with the weapon and the motive. And the third thing, which I found unanswered in the whole of that thing, was the fact that the lady was killed and was found in that state, and it could not have been committed by one person. And there was only one person presented in this case, who is Jowie. So when I look at these three things, the judge relied heavily on circumstantial evidence. Now, he might have done it, but did he do it alone? Are there other people, or were there other people who killed the lady and are not in the court of law? Because circumstantial evidence is when you say that you bring everything and it ties to one person. But that one is also, remember, they are using the last doctrine as the case. The last person, the last word, the last word.
Yeah.
So for me, the Jackie or Jowie, Jackie and Monica Kimani, this case is a big case, but there are many other areas which too many things need to be answered. Could it be also that there were some other people involved? Could it be a real killer is out there? So for me, these are the questions which have been going through my mind. These are things which are unanswered, and these are the things which we are waiting for the judgment. When now the final judgment comes out, we'd like to see what was the motive, where is the killer weapon.
Yeah.
And this last doctrine, how far did they use it as a circumstantial evidence?
That's key, because even when it comes to and he did mention that he has the desire to appeal later on.
Yeah.
He mentioned that he has that, but I don't know. The thing is,
or the guy might have been in the right place at the wrong time.
That happens. That's such his life.
But why did he use? Apparently, why did he use? Let me also say allegedly that Hosea ID card. Why did he come in with the wrong ID?
You will never know.
Yeah.
That ID story is also not adding up. Is it that only ID which was found at the scene?
Yes.
How many years has this case been going on, by the way? This case has been going on
So,
forever.
and there's no way that guy who you're saying he used the ID, was he called and asked where he lost ID?
But why him? Why him?
There's a lot of whys in this case.
So that's why we are saying there are so
There's a
many
lot of
unanswered
ways.
questions.
Yes, exactly.
And now let's go to land dispute.
Yes.
Another story that we've talked. Yes.
Is that
A
the place
governor-
where we drink a little?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why you drink a little. A governor steps in to stop a private developer from demolishing the school Visa Oshwal. primary school. Yes, and I think at this point, this is where RDL should just give us 6 months to all claim our title deeds, because these private developers are really coming up with lands.
Surely, okay. So
Every
this was
time.
the senator, but okay, the last I read of it, actually, there's nothing the governor or the senator, whatever, can do.
Yeah.
Because this is a court ruling. It is a court ruling that was ruled that land lawfully belongs to this private developer, and that now that school should move, yeah, and allow this guy to develop. This is what I can say, yeah. There are various laws that are governing land. So when you stay in a place for 10 years and the owner does not do anything, the land becomes yours. In this case, it's a case that has been in the court of law for the longest time. And I also want to say that what is lawfully, legally yours will be yours no matter how many regimes come. Who remembers that Nakumat that used to be there, built on top of a river? When the regimes changed, it was demolished. So something, I don't know what may have happened. Yes, the years may have passed. It does not make it, and I'm sorry for the children who have to be relocated, but we have to bring sanity to property ownership in this country. Obviously, we have to wait and see the truth. Even if it is a school that was built there, how many years? It is either pay me now for the value of the land, pay me, and for everything that have not been able to use it for, or relocate.
You know the thing
It has been a case in court.
Yes.
But the other thing, sorry to finalize, if there's no truth on this, should we all be going back and asking, oh, my great used to own that whole stretch. So, and because of colonialism, because they had that title since 1930, what? 1939, I think the title. The guy had the title since 1939, even before independence. They had that title. So should we all be going back? This case, we need to find out the whole truth.
Okay, I would say this. I think with the last regime, they said because of what happened to Langata Primary, every primary school should go and claim their title deed. So if they did not claim theirs and the land belongs to someone else, fine. But here's the thing.
They didn't claim because they did own it.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. I feel like private developers are popping every single week now, more than they did a long time ago. And like you've said, my great-great-grandmother used to own this land. You don't know it, but you've been told it's there now. Let me go for it. There's a title deed somewhere, under the bed, somewhere. Let me go. It's my land. I can claim it.
This guy has the legit title
and
in his name.
And that's why I'm saying we should, all of us, like for us to avoid this, today, this one is owned by so and so, they're showing up. This one is owned by this and this, they're showing up. Let us all be chased away, relocated, or demolished right now. Like all of you have 6 months to claim your title deed, whether it's from 1900 or it is from 2014. Can all of us know that this land belongs to this, so that some of us who are young and wants to develop or want to buy land, we won't be scared, because this news is not doing good to the young people who want to buy land. They are scared because now they think, oh, any land can be reclaimed again, because they don't understand such things actually.
They better understand, because this title actually belongs to this private developer. That at least according to the courts. And it's a lesson. It's a lesson to the people who are busy grabbing. Like you're grabbing because now you think you're in power.
But you know,
now when power changes, just know we are coming for you. So I think people have to be careful with what they are grabbing and what they are. I think that's the biggest lesson. Be careful. When the regimes change,
they'll come for your land.
Yeah, they'll come for you.
What do you think?
You see, this land issue is always very complicated, and especially Nairobi land. Personally, I've been in court for around 6 years now.
Land case.
In a land case, which I have a title and I have everything, and some thugs have gone to court and tried to corrupt their ways. So what happens is that in the land offices, there are people who are very corrupt there. Of course. Extremely corrupt. that, and the judges, some of the judges, now is when I've gotten a judge who is more clinical in looking at it. But I will tell you that wherever you sit, the judiciary system and the land officers collude. And they collude and they deny people who's their rightful owners, and people start changing land. You might have a title, a legit title. You might have a legit everything, but someone still can steal and come and claim that land of yours and take it away from you.
And someone can just be outrageous and go
Yes.
and take a school.
Yes.
A school like a landmark school. I don't think so.
So
They
what
can.
I'm just saying is that for this case, my argument has always been that if the judge has pronounced himself that this land belongs to this person, land, if you're buying land, is not the way you buy a loaf of bread. It takes a lot of process. Private developers, unless it is a corrupt deal, but private developers are not bad people, because when you go, there are people who have always owned land. They don't have title for it. They don't. The first part of land is you get an allotment letter. That is the first one. When you get an allotment letter, then you pay for the fees, the levies, which if it's a city council or what, then the land registration, then you pay the purchasing fee. Then you go look for the title, which takes a lot of the process, plus a map of that area, plus the beacons.
So many.
There are
the green
many
card.
things in it there. For you to come and alternate and change all those things, it's a long, long process. So my argument is that probably the school, this is what used to happen. Like, for example, my grandfather decided that the school outside in our village there, he'll give his land, part of it. And the school did not take what? Title. The title is with the family.
Oh.
Are you getting? So you build a school, and part of the school where that school is actually someone's land. So there is no process which has been done, and I suspect this is the case. That this person who is claiming this school, probably one of his great uncles just said, you can build it there temporarily. But they did not fast track the way of getting its own lease, or freehold lease. So the land actually belongs to this guy. He can come in and say, this is my title, this is my land.
But those are so many children. That school is very crowded.
Well,
you see now, and that's why
Very crowded.
You see, that's why we tell people, actually it is a government responsibility to build schools.
not
Do not give other people's responsibility. It's a government responsibility to make sure that in this area in Mombasa Road, the population will grow by 2050 to be 100,000 or 200,000. We need 10 schools.
And you better be paying your tax.
Demarcate the land for schools. There is Public Utilities Act. So if the government is not doing so, I'm sure the beacons are somewhere. They can relocate the children.
And that's a reality of the situation. That's just him being real. Only let's be real.
I still feel
By
they
the
should
time
be.
a supermarket in that whole area was being built on a river,
Someone, of course.
something, I've actually really thought about it. Something is just going. How do you actually build on
On
a
top,
river?
yeah, on a riverbed, yeah.
That's wild.
But it's just the same community. Like, how do you build on top of a river?
But I feel like the people are currently not ashamed of doing that. I know of a hotel that is built on top of a river too.
Yeah.
But it is
And
what
by
it
the
is.
way, the river will reclaim its course as usual. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been real.
Yes.
It has been great having you, Simon, back, of course.
Thank you. I'm honored to be back.
And
And I like your turtleneck. You look good. Vibrant in red. I see you too.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
Valentine after
Oh,
Valentine.
okay. I see afterwards.
You've not moved on from
Some of
Valentine.
us are single.
I'm not single.
I'm talking about me. But yes. But remind guys,
Yes.
make sure
Make sure you
DM you?
DM us and follow us at Samantha's Wines, and you stand a chance.
to win one.
Yes.
Send her, DM her your favorite Valentine's story. What did you guys do to Valentine's when you guys were dressed
Your
like
love
this?
story.
Keep it real, or let's be real. Goodbye.
Keep watching.